You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Powered by Seahawks.com. Now, here's your host, Nasa Chobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. The Seahawks coming off a huge win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're flipping the script, welcoming in the Houston Texans to Lumen Field on Monday Night Football. Bump. This is going to be a big game. Hit you with some injury updates real quick.
All right.
Julian Love, Reek Will, and Devin Witherspoon. Coach McDonald said today that they will practice.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they're for sure going to play, but the fact that they're practicing, they'll be on the field today, is a big thing.
Give me 1 out of 3. I'll take 1 out of 3. I mean, I'll take all 3. I want them to be back, but if we can get one of those dudes back, that's going to help.
Absolutely. So that's huge. And then towards the end of the game, Jaron Reed kind of got dinged up. He's fine. He's out there in practice. He was on the huddle today. Great interview if you want to listen to that with Bump, Wine, and Stacey Ross. Jaron Reed is such dude. He's such an OG. I love Jaron Reed.
He's settled in, man. He's so confident, articulate. He thinks about every answer. He doesn't just fire back at you. It was a good interview.
He'd have a fire podcast.
Yeah, he would.
Jaron Reed, you're welcome on the show anytime you want.
Anytime.
Just throwing that out there. All right, let's get into these Houston Texans. What's on tap?
What's on tap?
2-3, third place in the AFC South. Losses to the Rams, the Bucks, the Jags in the wins the last 2 weeks over the Titans and a beatdown over the Ravens. They got off to a rough start, Bump, obviously. They're 0-3, lost all games, though, by 1 score, so they were all close. Coming into the season under DeMeco Ryans, they were actually really good in 1-score games. They were 14-8, didn't have a good start to the season. But they're led by this defense. We're going to get into all those guys a little bit later. But C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, they got a lot of dogs on there. But the last 2 games, this offense has been on point, Bump. They've outscored their opponents 70-10. Now you can say, well, the combined record of those 2 teams is 2-10.
Right.
Ravens completely depleted. But either way, Bump, they're playing good football.
Yeah, they are. And the film shows CJ is in a good place right now. He's responsible with the football, completing 70% of his passes.
Right.
If you don't put pressure on him, there could be some problems. So it should be a good challenge. Not sleeping on the Texans at all.
Yeah, no. What did you see from the Ravens in that Texans game?
All right, Texans-Ravens against the Ravens. The offense finally showed up in a big way. They scored on all 8 offensive possessions, coasting to a 44-10. Man, could you imagine being an offensive coordinator and every time your offense gets the ball, you're ending with 7? That's a good feeling.
You're walking into the meetings on Monday before the bye week. Just
yeah.
All right, Coach. I'll see you next week, dog.
We good? All right, we're done here. The 34-point win was the most lopsided road win in Texans history and the most lopsided home loss in Ravens history. The Ravens were depleted, as you can get it, playing without Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Raekwon Smith, Marlon Humphrey, Patrick Ricard, and tackle Ronnie Stanley. Yeah, depleted.
Yeah, they didn't have their guys, obviously, again, but the Texans are still playing good football. I mean, you look at it, anytime you outscore somebody, 417 and 207. When the starters in the National Football League leave the game in a regular season game, you know they got busy.
Mm-hmm. They outgave the Ravens 417 to 207. The starters were pulled, like you mentioned. Nick Chubb had 61 yards and 11 carries and 1 touchdown. Stroud spread the ball around to 8 different people with a reception. D. Henry was held to 33 yards on 15 carries. You know what's sad? This might be like the final decline of D. Henry.
Granted, he ain't got no help. Yeah,
fumbling.
All that stuff.
Numbers ain't good. That's tough to watch, but still great. Cooper Rush was 14 of 20, 179, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Baltimore had 3 turnovers, and the Texans had 0. It was a beatdown from the beginning. Hard to judge if it was more about the Texans or the Ravens that are all beat up. We'll find out what is real come Monday nights.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers for this Texans team as we jump into the head-to-head matchup. I'll just jump right into where they're great as defensively. Holy smokes. They are total defense. They're 4th averaging or allowing just 265 yards a game. They are 7th in rush defense, allowing just 90 yards per game. They are 5th in pass defense, allowing just 175 yards per game. And they are number 1 in scoring defense, allowing just 12 points per game. Now, yes, it's inflated a little bit the last 2 weeks. They shut out a bad Titans team, and the Ravens didn't have Lamar in the company. But either way, 12 points because they also played well against the Rams and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers scored a lot of points here a couple weeks ago. They held them to 19. So, yeah, they're doing a lot of good things defensively.
Film don't lie neither. You turn on the film and you watch their defense fly around and make plays. This all aligns. Offensively, they're 20th overall, 16th when it comes to running the rock, 19th throwing that thing, and 22nd when it comes to points per game, 21.6. They do have 5 interceptions, and their turnover differential is +1.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at offensively, they look average. In terms of if you're just looking at the numbers, obviously we're going to get into the dogs that they have offensively. So they're a good team. It'll be interesting to see how this match this kind of shakes up. Quickly looking at the Seahawks, though, the Seahawks are 10th total offense, 356 yards a game, 24th running the thing, still struggling there a little bit. 4th in pass offense and 5th in points per game. Sam Darnold and company are throwing that thing, so this offense is really taking off.
Yeah, it is taking off. Defensively, 13th overall. Second when it comes to rush defense. That's so beautiful.
I love
second
that,
against
dude.
the run, allowing 79 yards per game. That's great. Pass defense. They're better than what this number says.
The Bucs game. Yeah. That's what it is.
The Bucs game's jacking up. They're 24th overall and giving up 235 yards per game. And then points per game, 6, averaging 19.5 the ops.
That's more indicative of where they're at as a football team, I think, grabbing up 19 points per game. You have one bad game, Baker threw for all those yards. It's going to skew a lot of these numbers. But, yeah, I'm excited for this matchup bump. Like, this is a huge one for the Seahawks. If you can get to a 5-2 heading into the bye week, hopefully getting all the players back, things could really get interesting here in Seattle. But Seahawks, Texans, they haven't played a ton over the years, so let's know the history.
Know your history.
Seahawks lead the all-time series 4-1, so they've only played 5 games. Obviously, if you remember, the Texans don't have a long history. They launched in 2002. Last matchup, the Seahawks took it to the Texans 33-13 in NRG Stadium in 2021, which feels like a century ago.
Sure does.
I remember the 12s took over that building. Tyler Lockett, Rashad Penny had a great game. That was in that stretch where Rashad Penny was like one of the best backs in the league.
Going nuts.
They had 137 yards, 16 carries, 2 long touchdowns, runs of 32 and 47. Russell had a good day, 17-28, 260, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Davis Mills was the quarterback for the Texans that day, who's still on the roster, by the way. He's the backup to C.J. Stroud. He threw some yardage, 331 yards, but only had 1 touchdown to show for it. That year, that was in the stretch where Russell broke his fingers, kind of getting healthy again. Things weren't doing that great. But hoping the Seahawks can repeat some of that against these Texans, extending that winning streak. But we'll flip things back to what's going around in our division. What's the word?
Where my soldiers at? West side! Where my soldiers at? West side! And the Seahawks are the NFC West champs again.
What's the word in the West on Hawk Talk?
NFC West still looking good. You got Niners 4-2, Hawks 4-2, Rams 4-2, and the Cardinals at 2-4. There's a 3-way tie for that number 1 spot. Like I mentioned with the Rams, the Hawks, and the 49ers, all 4-2. If the playoffs were to start today, the Niners would win the division with the head-to-head wins over Seattle and LA. This division's up for grabs.
Yeah, no, I mean, you look at that, and the Niners, they're the walking wounded. Obviously, we know Fred Warner, everything's going down, no Nick Bosa. But they keep finding ways to be competitive and be in games, which a great segue to this bump. Baker Mayfield, he's dominating, man.
Yep.
They're chanting MVP. Did you see that clip?
Tez.
For those who didn't see it, Tez Johnson, he scores a touchdown. He hits a backflip. He's doing his thing. And he's hearing people chant MVP. And he gets to the sideline. He's like, man, they were really chanting MVP. They're like, yeah, for Baker, dog.
Come on, the guy who threw you the ball. That was funny. Hey, he laughed at himself though.
Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, Baker's balling. He finished the day 17-23, 256, and 2 touchdowns. But once again, their backs against the wall. The 49ers kept them in the game. They were close. It was hard seeing Fred Warner go out like that. I know he's the ops, but Fred's a good dude, great linebacker. One of the biggest plays of the game happened with 4:21 left in the third quarter. The Bucs were up 20-19 with the ball facing a 3rd and 14. Baker Mayfield went on a crazy scramble and did enough to make it the first down, using his legs.
Oh, and he flexed on him. And whether you like Baker or not, he's a dude that I would play for because his energy on the field is contagious. And then one play later, boom, Ted Johnson, 45-yard touchdown, extending the lead, 27-19. Mac Jones gets intercepted and play later, and that kind of was all she wrote in that game. White had 65 yards and 14 carries and a touchdown. Mac Jones, 27-39, 347, and 2 interceptions. He was also sacked 6 times. And then Christian McCaffrey had another Christian McCaffrey game, 111 total yards, 1 touchdown. But what's concerning to me is how much he is carrying the football, receiving the football. He's leading the league in touches per game. And just with the way they're, fighting through injuries, you just think, like, is he a ticking time bomb also? Yeah. It's interesting to see where the Niners are. But, again, never count them out because they continue to fight.
Like I mentioned, Fred Warner went down. Looks like he's done for the year. Broken and dislocated ankle. And the injuries just don't stop for the Niners, man. But the 49ers welcome in the Atlanta Falcons for Sunday Night Football. Falcons fresh off a big win over the Bills. Bijan looks, it had like 170 on the ground. It was ridiculous.
Go Falcons. Go get that done. Michael Penix doing his thing. And then also elsewhere in the division, the Rams and the Ravens. Another week, another rough game for the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
Ravens kicked a field goal on their first possession and did not score the rest of the game. Cooper Rush struggled, and then they had to bring in Huntley after him. Halftime was 3-3, but the Rams took control of the game after a 9-play, 76-yard drive that ended with a 3-yard touchdown to Kyron Williams. 2 plays later, Zay Flowers fumbles. The Rams get in the end zone a couple plays later. That made it 17-3, and they just kind of took it from there. Ravens would fumble on their next drive, and they're still missing a lot of people. They're banged up. Yeah. Obviously, they are nowhere near where they used to be. And for the Rams, it wasn't a great game, but again, they're still victorious. Stafford 17-26, 181, 1 touchdown. Higbee led the Rams in receiving with 40 on 4 receptions and a touchdown. But the big news out of that game, Puka Nacua left the game in the second quarter with a foot injury. He was able to come back in the third quarter, didn't catch a pass. Luckily for the Rams, head coach Sean McVay said this week that he avoided a long-term injury. He's currently day-to-day, feeling better, but we'll see something to continue to monitor. The Rams are spending this week in Baltimore, which is interesting. I don't know if you saw it. I think they were practicing like Camden Yards. I saw a clip with the football lines over there. They're staying in Baltimore this week to stay on the East Coast before traveling to London to play the Jaguars, who are obviously beat up after that Seahawks game. But now it's all love. Duval, go get it done.
Hey, the Jags, that's like their second home, London.
It really is.
They've been playing there since B. Walt was playing for the Jags back in the day. We got the Cardinals and the Colts. The Cardinals were without Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett stepped up in a big way against his former team, but it wasn't enough as the Cardinals fell to the Colts 31-27. It was pretty entertaining. It was a back-and-forth game, right? Cardinals kicking a field goal, going up 24-27 with 9:31 left in the fourth quarter, but the Colts would answer with a 9-play, 66-yard drive ending with a Jonathan Taylor touchdown as the Colts took the lead 31-27 with 4:32 left in the game. Indiana Jones. He's real.
Yeah, every week I keep questioning it, but they keep finding ways to win. And if you're the Colts, you're thinking, wow, we just got lucky.
You got lucky as heck.
Because Richardson, they still think he might be the guy eventually, but this wasn't supposed to happen. You're thinking Danny Dimes was not going to win the job, or he'd play poorly, and then Richardson will be back out there. Who knows? But he's balling right now.
It's probably best case scenario for Anthony Richardson, honestly. Let him sit down, let him learn, and watch a pro do his thing. Let's not forget, man, he's a Pro Bowler, that guy, Indiana Jones, man. But Jacoby Brissett will lead the Cardinals deep into the red zone, but he took a sack on 3rd and 7 from the 9-yard line. His 4th down pass was incomplete, and the Colts held it down for the win. Danny Dimes, I'm promoting him to Danny Dollars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yep. He was 22 of 30 for 212, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jonathan Taylor had 123 on the ground with 21 carries and a touchdown. And Jacoby Brissett was 27 of 42, 320, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Zay Jones led all receivers with 79 yards on 5 receptions. The Cardinals have lost 4 in a row after starting the season 2-0. They got to play the Packers on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that all NFC West teams other than the Seahawks lose this week.
Yeah.
Which I would love to see. Seahawks get a dub, go into the bye week in first place. That's what we want to see. But we'll shift our attention back to these Houston Texans. Man up.
Hey, who you got?
Who you got? You know what time it is. Man up.
Man up, brother.
Man up.
Man up on Hawk Talk.
Just like we do every week, we're going to start with the quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, now in his 3rd season after being the number 2 overall pick in the 2023 draft from Ohio State. We know what he did at Ohio State, put up crazy numbers, led the Big Ten in yards, touchdowns, had great seasons, got to the college football playoff. And he's helped really turn around this Texans program, obviously, in addition with DeMeco Ryans. They were 10-38 the previous 3 seasons with him there.
Goodness.
But now under new leadership, back-to-back AFC South championships, won a playoff game in each of those years. Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2023, had a great year, made the Pro Bowl, threw for over 4,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. Last year took a little bit of a step back, 3,800 yards or around, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And so I wouldn't say he fell off. Obviously, they're still a playoff team, but he's kind of back to playing that type of football. After a rough stretch to start the year, Stroud won Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against the Ravens, where he went off 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, QB rating of 143.9. He's also had a career-based 85% completion percentage against those Ravens. But the past 2 weeks, he's killing the game, 477 yards, 6 touchdowns, 139 passer rating. He's one of 4 quarterbacks in the NFL with an active streak of games posting a passer rating of 120 or higher. 1,000 yards on the year, 1,076, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Has been sacked just 12 times. Texans are the 19th best passing offense in the league. The Seahawks have some room to grow there, obviously, statistically. You can't throw the Buccaneers game out, but if you take that out, this is a much better pass defense. But Stroud's a good player, man. He is definitely someone, as you've been saying, is just throwing dimes, darts all over the field. He'll definitely have, Seahawks have the work cut out for him.
Yeah, he's a good ball player. You got to put some pressure on. He's only been sacked 12 or 14 times. Yeah, mid when it comes to that number. So, yeah, Seahawks, get after him. Let's talk about our quarterback. Week after week, Darnold lets you know, look, I'm one of the best in the game right now. Like, there's no denying what he's doing. He's coming off a great game against Jacksonville. He was 16 of 27 for 295, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a QB rating of 121.7. Per ESPN research, Sam Darnold, 61-yard touchdown to JSN, traveled 49 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, the second most air yards on the completion of his career. He's now 17 of 24 on passes, thrown 20-plus yards down the field with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That kind of sums it up for you.
Well, and if that's not enough, Bump, he is 3rd in the NFL in passing yards, 1 in the NFL in in yards per pass attempt at 9.6, 1 in the NFL in yards per completion at 13.5, 3rd in passer rating 116, 7th in the NFL in completion percentage, 1 in play action pass yards, and 1 passing touchdowns under center was 7. Darnold, right now, he is in the MVP conversation.
He is.
I'm not saying it's going to be there the whole year, but you can't deny those numbers and what he's doing for this football team.
Nah, not at all. B. Walt tried to tell me.
He did.
And I didn't listen. I said he was knocking on the door. The door's open. He's walking in, having a seat at the table with the best in the game. On the year, 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 7 times on the season. The Texans are 4th in total defense, allowing 265 per game. They're 5th against the pass, and they are 1st when it comes to allowing the ops to score, only giving up 12 points per game.
Yeah, it's going to be... this is definitely a tough task, but week after week, the Seahawks keep playing good defenses, and they keep finding ways to put up numbers and points, so we'll see what happens there. Then you flip it over to Nick Chubb, Seahawks front 7. Obviously, they're without Mixon, you know what I'm saying? But Chubb, 8th NFL season, first year in Houston. He's had an interesting, interesting not the right word. It's been tough for him, right? He started his career, obviously, 4 Pro Bowls, 2019, 2022, rushed for over 1,000 yards every season with a high of 1,500 yards in 2022. But then week 2 of 23, devastating knee injury, damage to meniscus, the capsule in there, the MCL, everything in there was all kinds of jacked up. He missed the rest of that year and didn't return until week 7 of last season, but he was not himself. He had previously, he had also torn up that knee in college.
Nasty.
And when he came back, career low, 3.3 yards per carry, rushed for just 332 yards on 102 carries and 2 touchdowns. But he's a 30-year-old running back. Obviously, that's when running backs usually get aged out of this league. But he's doing okay so far this year, about 58 carries, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. Against Tennessee, he eclipsed the 7,000 career rushing yards list, 7th active running back in the NFL to reach that milestone. But this is what the Seahawks do best, and they've proven it week after week after week. They're number 2 in the NFL in rush defense, and the Jacksonville, for a great example, ETN comes in there, 4th in the league in rushing attack. He gets completely shut down. You look at through Kamara, McCaffrey, all these top running backs that come in here and get shut down. The Seahawks are playing great football, and I expect nothing less from them this Sunday.
Yeah, starts with those big boys in the trenches. All right, let's look at their wideouts. You got Nico Collins and Christian Kirk, who against the Seahawks secondary. So Nico, he's 5th year after being 3rd-round pick in the Texans in 2021. Collins, he's become a number 1 receiver in this league. After having 400-plus receiving yards his first 2 seasons, Collins, he took off in 2023. That season, he had career highs in receptions with 80, yards with 1,297, and touchdowns with 8. The same year Stroud was drafted. Correlation. Get you a quarterback, you might be able to ball a little bit. Since 2023, Nico Collins has averaged 81.7 yards per game, tied for 6th most in the NFL through that span, and 2nd most in the AFC. Since 2023, Collins is tied for the most receptions of 50-plus yards with 8 of them things. You let him get loose, let him get behind you, he will make some plays. During that same time frame, Collins has accumulated the 3rd most 50-plus yard touchdown receptions with 4. This year, 22 catches, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a deep threat. You got to keep him in front. That's we're talking Kobe Bryant, we're talking Ty Akata, we're talking, if Julian Love is back out there. He's a guy that you can't get behind you in the secondary because he will absolutely make you pay. Now, I put Christian Kirk on your bump. Statistically, he's our 5th leading receiver. They got 4 players on the team with between 109 and 186 yard receiving. But coming in this year, he's the real second option. He's been in this league a long time. Spent his first 4 seasons with the Cardinals, then signed a huge contract, remember, with Jacksonville.
He's the reason why receivers are getting paid today.
So big ups to him, I guess.
Yes.
No, he did his thing, and whether he lived up to that or not is a different conversation. But that first year, he did have his best season in the NFL in 2022 with the Jags. His only 1,000-yard season of his career. He also had 8 touchdowns. His production dipped a little bit in 23, and then had a season ended after 8 games when he broke his collarbone last year. But when he's healthy, he's definitely their number 2 option. Big playability. He started this year. He had a hamstring strain, so that's part why his numbers are down. He missed the first 2 games, been working his way back into it. 3 games this year, 10 receptions, 109 yards. And if you remember, too, they also had Tank Dell, who disgusting injury.
My goodness.
Big ups to him. Hopefully his recovery is going well. But, yeah, no, these 2 guys are ones that can hurt you in the Seahawks secondary who's been dinged up. We'll see who plays on Sunday, but those are guys that you definitely got to look out for.
Yeah, and let's talk about our receivers, JSN and Cooper Kupp against Stingley, who's arguably the best DB in the game right now in the Texans secondary. JSN did what he does. He had 8 receptions for 162 and 1 touchdown against Jacksonville. He had a 61-yard reception, which is the longest of his career. Sunday was his 4th 100-yard game of the season. Before this year, he had 3 games of 100 yards. My man is the number 1 receiver. His 162 yards is the second most in his career. I believe it was against the Rams last year. He balled out
181
when DK was out. Jason has at least a 36-yard reception in every game this season. He now leads the NFL with 696 yards. Those 696 yards are the most in any 6-game span in Seahawks history, according to ESPN. He's had at least 79 yards in every game this year.
Is that good?
That's all right. You're doing all right.
What Jason is doing right now is unbelievable. He needs 100 yards to become the second player in franchise history to record 3 consecutive 100-yard receiving games. He should have had it. It was like 3 or 4 yards short earlier this year, and he's balling out. He's about to do it again. Needs 100 yards to tie 6 players for second place in franchise history with 500-yard receiving games in a single season, and 12 receptions to pass DK for most receptions in a player's first 3 seasons in franchise history with 217. I think it's safe to say he's going to get that. Yeah,
he's probably going to get there. Like I mentioned, 42 catches, 696, 3 touchdowns. And then Cooper Kupp is doing exactly what I thought he would do for this ball club. We don't need 1,800 yards out of you, Cooper Kupp. You be the mentor, and you be consistent, and that's exactly what he's been. He has 23 receptions on 32 targets for 261. He caught his first touchdown as a Seahawk last week and as well eclipsed the 8,000-yard career receiving yards list. The Texans are 5th against the pass, allowing 175 yards per game.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think he's doing everything you need him to do. They're obviously not to take anything away from JSN because he was going to be a number 1 type receiver and balling out. But having Kupp in that room has been a big thing for him. He's talked about it. Both those 2 bouncing ideas off each other, which is great. But they're going to have their hands full this week. You mentioned it, Derek Stingley Jr., one of the best corners in the game right now. He's in his 4th season after being the 3rd overall pick at LSU in the 2022 draft. Everyone was talking about Sauce. It was all about Sauce for a little bit. Not that Sauce is playing bad, but we haven't been hearing about him as much now. We're hearing about this guy, Derek Stingley, for sure. Really came into his own last season. For the first time, he started all 17 games, 54 tackles, 4 TFLs, 18 passes defended, 5 interceptions, Pro Bowler, and first-team All-Pro. Now, he's battling an oblique injury, but he hasn't really missed any time this year, and he should be a little bit rested coming off the bye week. This is one, we haven't had one of these in a little bit, like a straight-up get your popcorn ready. For a lot of years on this show, we talked about anytime we play the Rams, and it'd be DK, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. This is one of those, so I'm interested to see how they approach this. What is he going to do? Is there going to follow JSN? Is there going to be anything they do there? But that's going to be one that definitely we should circle and be watching on Monday night.
Stingley. The reason why DBs are getting paid, too. This Texans just pay their guys.
Yes.
Well, I guess the Texans did pay Christian Kirk, but they got him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at Will Anderson. It's Danielle Hunter, right? Daniil?
I think.
Okay, we'll go Daniil.
I think it's Daniil.
All right. And we'll go Azeez Al-Shaair against everybody. This defense is top 5 in almost every major statistical category. Why is that? They got some dogs on that side of the ball. You start with Alabama standout Will Anderson. He's been really disruptive this season. According to Next Gen Stats, Anderson averages 5.2 pressures per game this season, which is 4th in the NFL. He also recorded 10 pressures in 54 snaps against Tampa Bay. That is the second most in a game this season so far this year. 17 tackles, 3 sacks, 6 TFLs, and 6 quarterback hits.
Yeah, no, he's a baller. Yeah. He's an absolute baller, and he's got this big brace on his elbow. He just looks like a dog out there, and he backs it up. And then Daniil Hunter is another guy having a great season. 5-time Pro Bowler. He's done his thing. Spent his first 8 years in Minnesota before coming to Houston last year. He had 12 sacks last year, 17 TFLs, 23 quarterback hits through 5 games this year. He's off to another great start. 12 tackles, 4 sacks, leads team, 4 TFLs, 5 QB hits.
These guys can play. And I didn't even talk about this third guy yet. Azeez, I'm watching him on film, Nas, and he's like a bullet just getting downhill, getting after these guys. He's a playmaker. He's their leading tackler. He's a physical player. He's always around the football. He came under fire a little bit with big hits in his career, and that's hard. I was talking to Dave Wyman about this.
Yeah,
it's so hard to play defense in today's NFL, and these guys have to make split decisions, while out there on the football field. And he's been I won't call him a victim. He's been a recipient of a few questionable calls. But you don't want to take that aggressiveness from him if you are the Texans DC.
No, I mean, I think they felt a little differently about that in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. You get to get his 3-game suspension for that.
Yeah.
He's also fined $17,000 for a hit on Cam Ward earlier this month. But he's an absolute monster. There's no, whether you think some of these hits are clean or not, when you watch him on the field, I didn't even have words for it because he's everywhere on the field. He's a great linebacker.
Facts.
So much so, I've been reading, different articles out there that the Niners, after Fred Warner went down, people were like, we need to go get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do whatever they can to get this guy. But he's playing good ball, 32 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, 1 forced fumble, 3 passes defended, bump. They got someone at every level that can hurt you over there for sure. So it's definitely going to be.
Don't sleep on these Texans for real. They got some ballers over there.
But big opportunity, national audience. We're going to tell you how the Seahawks can get this done. Path to victory.
At the 45, waits for the snap. Michael Dixon puts it down. That kick is away, and that kick is good. The Seahawks win. It's good.
It's a path to victory on Hawk Talk.
The Seahawks, they could still be without some big guns on defense, but we're going to wait and see. They're going to take that all the way up to Monday night, of course. But I want them to build off a big performance in Jacksonville, and that starts up front, getting after C.J. Stroud. This defensive line went absolutely nuts, bump. 17 quarterback hits, 7 sacks to a team that didn't give up a lot of sacks. Stroud, he makes this offense go, and they got to make it a long day for him.
Long day. Make him make some bad decisions. Stroud's been pretty good with the football, so we got to do that. Stop the run. Chubb can't go off.
No.
Now he's still got some juice to him.
Yeah, and this not even being disrespectful. I'm just saying, you're 100% right.
Yeah, he's still got some juice to him. Yes, he's 30. Yes, he's had some bad injuries, but he's running confidently. You are the number 2 rush defense in this league. You gotta back it up, and then keep guys in front. We talk about Nico Collins and his deep ball threats. You got Christian Kirk over there, who's fast as heck as well. This has been a struggle for a couple reasons or for a couple weeks, but they got it in them. Just keep everything in front of you.
Without question. And then you flip to the offensive side of the ball, find a way to be better on third down. I think that's the one nitpicky thing we can get on them for. 1-12 is not good enough. They got to stay on the field. But again, you supplement that with big plays to JSN and Darnold. The production between those two is unreal. Best connection in the league. Big part of this offense. Definitely got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, and protect your quarterback. Only 7 sacks allowed on the whole season, and a bulk of those came in one game, right? Was there one game?
Where 4.
Yeah, so just protect your quarterback. Let him do what he does. The best in the play action game, the best on the football down the field, the best when it comes to on-target throws. Allow him to be great.
No, this is, like you said, don't sleep on the Texans. This is going to be a tough physical matchup, absolutely. But the Seahawks have a big opportunity in front of a national audience. Like I said, they can get this done on primetime, on Monday Night Football. They will go into the bye week, get a lot of guys back. Robbie Oots will come off IR, all that stuff, and they'll be 5-2, hopefully on top of the NFC West. Reminder, you can hear us everywhere: YouTube, Seahawks.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Sirius XM. And but before we get out of here, my buddy sent me a comment. Someone commented on this podcast, and they said, I like NASA as a host, but he needs to get a haircut. Let me tell you something. I got 2 young kids. I know my lineup's all jacked up. I understand that. I can't get a haircut to the bye week. My barber's busy. He's out in Auburn.
Busy man. Hey, do you, dog? Do you?
I was rolling though. They were clowning me. They're like, dog, they're talking about your haircut for real. Anyway, he's Michael Bumpus of NASA Show. This has been Hawk Talk.